Hello Leo, Sun, Moon and Rising. These are your messages for December. So sorry they're so late, Leo. Let's have a look at what we have coming up for you. So the very first card that we have is the King of Swords. Just move this over a little bit. There we go. Okay, so we have the King of Swords coming up as your underlying energy. Now, usually I say when a court card comes up as an underlying energy, that's our energy for this period. Because it's kind of the most pervasive energy. It's kind of it's the undercurrent of everything that's happening right now. Now, of course, this could be someone else. And in which case, if it is, it's someone who's very central to your story right now. Like everything revolves around them. It's a general reading. So, you know, I would say use your own discernment and you'll know yourself. But the energies, they can be that of someone else's, all of them, not just the underlying. If they're very central, if everything kind of revolves around them, then the energies relate to that person, but you will know yourself. So what's the King of Swords like? Well, he's a king for starters. So, you know, he has mastery over his suit. He is the highest court card that you can get. And the King of Swords is very intelligent. He's very intelligent, very logical. He's usually the advisor, the consultant, someone that we go to for information or advice because he knows everything. Now, usually with the King and Queen of Swords, they've gone through a lot and they've turned all of that experience into knowledge. So the King of Swords, he knows his mind. He's not afraid to detach from his emotions and make those difficult decisions that a lot of us don't want to make. So Leo, this could be you at this time, you know, making some decisions. The thing with the court cards of the suit, did I say that right? Yeah, but of the suit of swords rather, it's all about the truth. You know, what is the truth here? They always hold up that sword and that's the sword of truth. So they will speak their truth and they will want to hear the truth. That's the whole thing. The King of Swords, I mean, I always think of the kings as more initiated and the queens as like they kind of see what's presented to them first before they act. But the King of Swords, the thing with him that can be kind of difficult, because all of the cards have like a kind of easier energy and a more difficult energy. With him, it's that he can appear cold. He can appear emotionally detached. And, you know, even when he might be saying the truth, but there's a way to say the truth and it can still have a little bit of a bite to it because it can feel like there's no emotion behind it. So some of you may be dealing with an air sign or someone with air sign kind of traits, and that's Aquarius, Gemini or Libra. But I do feel for a lot of you, this is going to be your energy, that you're very much about speaking your truth, hearing the truth. And, you know, that's what it's about. Clarity, full mental clarity at this time. And that's going to help if there's difficult decisions to make. Now, why is it that you've kind of taken on that stance? I mean, the King of Swords is pretty powerful. Well, coming up at the heart of your reading, we have the Five of Swords. The Five of Swords, first of all, it's a 5. I always call the 5s agents of chaos because they create chaos in our lives. It's usually not that long-lived, like it's short-lived. It doesn't last that long. It dissipates quickly, this energy, but it gets us to change. It causes transformation. That's why I always call them agents of chaos. So the Five of Swords, it can be a bit of a ruthless kind of energy. So you may be dealing with someone who has this, you know, or it could be you, like, you know, where you're willing to do whatever it takes to get what you want. It's one of the victory cards, but this is not as clear-cut a victory as some of the other ones. The reason I always say that is because this guy, he's won, right? The battle's happened in this. He's got the swords, but what did it cost him to get these swords? Were they his friends once, but he wanted the swords so much that he lost his friends? So there is this kind of question mark that hangs over this card of what is this worth to you? How much are you willing to do to get what you want? Because it does feel like, you know, there's something, it's going to cost you something. Whether it's time, whether it's emotion, whether it's, you know, relationship, whatever. But it feels like with that King of Swords sat right there in I mean, he's not going to be afraid. This guy is going to do whatever it takes to get what he wants. If it's the truth, if he sees that's the best thing, the action to take here, that's what he'll do. Because swords are about our thoughts, our beliefs, our ideas, and how we communicate them. So this might be like, you know, there's a truth that you want to say right now, or to hear even. And it's like, what does it cost me to face this truth or to do this truth? And the reason I think that you're kind of at this place of like ready to, like, I don't care, I just want the truth. That's what's coming up here. That's the sense. With that King of Swords there, that Five of Swords is just like, I just want to know the truth. I just want to know what's going on here. There is an air of that. Why? Because it feels like you've been kind of in a defensive position. That's kind of, you know, Leos don't usually do that. You guys are pretty bold usually. But you have the Seven of Wands coming up as the foundation energy, the past energy. And this is when things come at us from every angle. Like we're having to defend ourselves. So you may have had to defend your position. This could be in a relationship, work, right? Just loads of problems coming at us that you're kind of batting away the problems that come at you, the energies that are coming at you. So this is a very defensive energy, but it is that, I call it, it's that warrior card that, what do you stand for? What are you willing to defend? What are you willing to fight for? Every warrior that goes into battle, he does so under some banner, right? Whether it's the banner of a king, the banner of a belief, a religion, whatever it is that person believes, and we have all those swords coming up, that's what that warrior will go and fight for under that banner of something. So this is you. This is why I say, this is, what do you stand for? This is deciding, this is what I stand for. I will stand my ground on this. And again, like, look at this, two very combative energies, but both of them talk about, like, what is it worth to you? If it's a relationship, like, you might be having to defend your relationship to other people. And that's the question mark. Like, how much do I want this relationship? And how much is it worth to me? Is this person worth that much to me that I might have to go against friends and family? Or, there could be that sense. Or even within a relationship, maybe you want something that, it's not coming up, but I'll just give an example, that, if somebody wants kids and it's like, well, how much do I want this person, or do I want to be a parent? Like, it's that kind of energy. With these two coming up here, it feels like you've had to defend yourself for a long time. Now, it usually shows a victory as well. Like, so, it says there's nothing to show that you won't be able to stand against, to succeed in this situation, because this person always has the higher ground. We don't actually see the people that have these wands. We just see the wands sticking up, and he's got a very solid stance and he's ready to kind of bat them away. So there's nothing to show that you don't succeed with that, but it doesn't feel like a very stable energy, right? If you're kind of like combating, like, holding off things that are coming at you, that's not very stable energy. However, you have the Ace of Pentacles, and this card's been coming up all over the place. We have the Ace of Pentacles coming up in the present. So this is a stable new beginning. Pentacles are always tangible things. So it can be money, investments, house moves, all of those things that represent some kind of security for us, stability for us in our life. I say this all the time, that, relationships, if it's a relationship that's beginning with Ace of Pentacles, it's a great start. That relationship looks like it will be long term, because Pentacles are slow energies, earth energy. So it moves very slowly, but, I always say it's like every brick in that foundation gets laid carefully and solidly. Like, there's going to be no mistakes. That's a firm foundation that's being laid with the Ace of Pentacles. And this represents long term, like, something that you're ready to go the distance with, and you fought for it. With that Five of Swords, with that Seven of Wands, it's something that you've been fighting for, something that you've had to defend. Now, for some of you, what it is that brings about this stable new beginning is the truth. It's you fighting for your truth, or you speaking your truth. Some of you, it's going to be that, the stable new beginning is with this character, if this is someone else. And maybe you've been in conflict with this person, that the two of you have been trying to hash out where you're going. This could be advice. Like, if this is nothing to do with romantic life, this is not, this could be someone that you go to for advice. This can sometimes be a lawyer, or, a consultant, an advisor, someone that we go to for advice. And the advice that this person gives, the decision they help us to make, that's what gets us to this new beginning. But what I'll say about that Ace of Pentacles in the present is that, yes, there's this kind of stable beginning coming in. But it's just the start, right? It's just an ace. We've got a long way to go before we get to the 10. It's just the beginning of that. And there, I think it's more about the stability of it. That's what I'm getting, that finally you feel kind of secure. You can breathe for a moment and think, okay, I've got my footing now. I'm not kind of batting away all those wands. I'm not having to fight for those swords. Like, whatever it is that you're doing, the energies kind of seem to calm down and everything feels more stable. And that is when hope returns. So some of you with that King of Swords sat up there, now this star coming up as a future energy, could be dealing with an Aquarius. In fact, there is a connection between your reading and Aquarius's reading, but that's from the Oracle cards too, but I'll get to that in a moment. So the star card, it's a card of hope. It's when hope returns. In the Major Arcana, and I say this every time, it's the card that shows up after the Tower, when our whole life has collapsed around our ears. This is hope returning. Now, it's sometimes called the wish fulfillment card, but I always see it as, when this is hope comes in, that we can still attain that wish. We can see the new beginning. It's that star in the night sky that's guiding us to a new beginning, to a helping hand, to hope. It's very spiritual energy. I love this energy. The main thing is hope. Like, anything feels possible when the star card shows up. Some of you need it. If you've been dealing with this ruthless energy, and I'm just going to say this, I don't usually see this, but with that King of Swords and with that Five of Swords there, it feels like some of you have been dealing with a narcissist. It's that very kind of narcissistic energy. And I'm not saying it's the King of Swords that's like that. Like, you know, I've read so many times, you know, narcissistic Aquarians. I'm an Aquarian sun. I'm not a narcissist whatsoever. In fact, as an empath, I've had to deal with more narcissists than I could ever want to, like, you know, talk about. But yeah, so, but it is that, you know, if someone's been ruthless with you, if that's what you've had to deal with, and now you're thinking, what's it worth? Like, it may be a family member and you love them, or a partner and you're thinking, I love them, but I can't deal with this anymore. I can't do this. I can't do this defensive energy. So it doesn't have to be just as a narcissist. I'm just saying that. But this is where the hope returns. This is where, you know, a new beginning comes in. There's guidance now. This is a guidance card too. That star is the guidance system, right? And it's our hope takes us forward. We can get to our dream. Now, the problem is, and we have more swords coming up, and this is the advice energy. You have that stable footing now with the Ace of Pentacles. You have the hope returning. You can see there can be a new beginning here. This is where we think, well, can there be? Is this, you know, what I really want? This is when we get trapped by our own thoughts. So as much as there's stuff coming up about the truth, with that King of Swords there, and with the the Eight of Swords coming up at the end here as a crowning energy, don't let that stop you, Leo. Don't let that stop you. Don't let that be the thing that prevents you from going forward, because the Ace of Pentacles and the Star, they're great energies. You can make the most of those. But it may be now that you're thinking, well, I can't do this, or, you know, it's not possible. But it's just our thoughts that trap us. You've got that warrior spirit. Come on, you've got this. You've gone through this. What have you not fought off already? Don't let your own mind sabotage you right now. And Wands is your energy, right? So, you know, that's fire energy. And maybe that's the problem here, that you're not, instead of like going with your heart, and that's you guys, Leo, like going from your heart, living from your heart. It can be that sense that you've fought your little heart out, and now you're like, oh God, you're stuck kind of in your thoughts, kind of. I'm going to actually, I don't usually do clarifiers, but I'm going to pull one for that Eight of Swords for you guys. It's an interesting spread, that's why. There's a lot going on here. Let's see, I think I just said that to, who did I say that to? Gemini, I think. Let's see. Sorry, I hope that's not too loud. Let's pull one. What have we got? What's clarifying this Eight of Swords? Right. Yeah, that's what it is. It's the Page of Cups. I get that though. If you've been in that defensive place and it feels like maybe it's not the logical place that's bothering you, it's getting back to the emotional place. The Page of Cups, it's a message of love. It's a message of emotion. It's a feeling emotion. Like usually there's a fish. Here it's a seahorse that's in the cup. And it's saying there's something here. There's an emotion here that you're feeling. Something that maybe you've been defending. Like, you know, that you love someone, or you have feelings for someone, or your a job or something, that, you know, something that you love. And all of a sudden now, like, you kind of know it's there. You know what's there, but the head and heart are kind of battling it out. Because the Eight of Swords is like, well, I can't say that. I can't tell this person that, you know, it just feels like there's been some kind of hard fought kind of battle or war, or there's been conflict with someone. And, you know, when we're in that Seven of Wands energy, when we're in that place of having to defend ourselves, having to know what we stand for, we can be in the moment because you're defending yourself. Like, there's energy coming at you and you're just defending yourself. So, you know, you're in the moment and you're living that. And 7's a divine number as well. But it's when all of that kind of ceases, when you have that Ace of Pentacles. And that's the irony, right? Where suddenly when everything quietens down, we have that kind of stability coming in. And we're kind of logically trying to figure out what we're going to do next. And we're like, okay, well, you know, there's hope returning. I can see a new beginning coming in. That's when suddenly everything hits us and we can get trapped. But I don't want to go through that again. I don't want to do that again. You know, this is that. The Page of Cups coming up with this, I think, would really say to you guys that look at how you're feeling when all else fails. Yes, it's great to be clear-headed. Yes, it's great to go for the truth. But what is it that defines your truth, Leo? It's how you feel. What message of love you want to give. The message of love you want to hear even. And that might be what this is about. Like, how much is that worth to you? How much is it worth to you? What are you willing to do for it?